Now to Mexico, where the judiciary is to undergo a controversial overhaul. Judges will now be elected by popular vote. Final approval in Mexico's Senate came after protesters stormed the building to shut down the debate. Critics worry that the reform will threaten judicial independence and the country's democracy by politicizing the judiciary. But outgoing Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador claims the reforms set an example for the world. So let's get more on this from journalist Andalusia Knoll Soloff in Mexico City. Welcome to DW, Andalusia. This will be part of the legacy of the outgoing President Manuel Lopez Obrador. What do you think he's trying to achieve with this?
Well, earlier this year, he put forth a series of reforms, of which this one was the most controversial one. But I think what it does do largely, while they do deny it, the party in power, his party Morena, is it does consolidate the power of Morena. They did have a landslide in the elections also earlier this year. And of course, Claudia Sheinbaum, who will be the country's first female president, who is taking power on October 1st, will continue with his legacy. But basically, as a populist president, he has always focused on saying that he believes that the people should have more power in Mexico and be able to determine things like here we see who can be the federal judges. And he refers to what he calls the pueblo, which refers to the people, and thinks that this is a way to eliminate corruption. So a lot of his popularity is based on saying that he is doing things for the people and eliminating corruption, which is not really the case with this reform, but that is what he has made it seem that it is about.
OK, and we'll come to that. But this concerns all judges right up to the Supreme Court will be voted on by a popular vote. So does that mean anyone will be allowed to run for election as a judge?
No, not anyone. The person does have had to go to law school, which in Mexico is an undergrad degree, and they have to have at least an 8 out of 10 of their grades. But it does make it much wider of basically anyone who went to law school and did all right at law school can be chosen, which before they needed to have take many exams, be approved by superiors. It had passed through many different filters that were based on all the preparation and studies that and experience that these judges and magistrates had. And now it will be much more like a popular vote contest where human rights groups and also opposition and many people and lawyers, as well as the people that are currently in the tribunal, have said that that is where there can be actually more corruption and that the political parties will now have more influence in this election of who will be chosen.
But it's hard to fault the logic, though, isn't it? Why not have a democratically elected bench? Why not have the transparency of democracy?
Right. That is what Morena and their defenders and even law students, et cetera, are saying. Why should the people not be allowed to choose who is representing them in the judicial sphere, which is so important here in Mexico, where there's so much impunity and really a sad high level of criminal activity. So then the reason is that logistically, actually, it's incredibly difficult. This will be over 1,600 judges that will come up for elections, and that's one number. Others are saying that it will actually be many thousands more because it will also be decided that way on a state level. So therefore, how can every citizen that goes to vote be fully prepared to know how are they going to vote for these 1,650 or even more judges? How are they going to be able to read through, all of their experience, and also who is financing it? And it's very complicated. And I was just reading about how this did happen in Bolivia, and that they actually were not able to successfully choose all of the judges that were supposed to be chosen by popular vote because of all the complications in the logistics.
All right, thanks for talking us through that, Andalusia. Journalist Andalusia Knoll Soloff in Mexico City. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.